State prosecutor calls for an order to force Samuel Selolwane to submit a DNA sample before court in the case of rape of a 13-year-old child. BOTSWANA Karate Association holds the first round of national team selection. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Now, in our first story, construction of the 40 meters Bailey Bridge across Molabe River along the Tobane-Tsokwe Road is on its final stage of completion. This was confirmed by the Minister of Transport and Public Works, Mr. Rick Molali, during a tour of the project, where he also applauded the Department of Roads for their work. Karabo Mulisi reports.
The construction and delivery of this Bailey Bridge is a fulfillment of the long submitted request by the residents of Tobane and Tsokwe, who endured challenges especially during the rainy seasons. The government has ultimately acceded and acted on their request.
Se salang ko gore jaanong borogo jo bo dirisiwe matshwenyego a hokotsege ra itse gore the next stage o tla bo go buiwa ka tsela gore ga ya siama mme kana madi ga bone motlho re tla nna re le ka go e baakanya ha re bone madi ane re hapula ene le yana batho ba tsogona motseng ga kilometers di kalo ne ba tshwana re bo heta go robella ba poteka kwa ngwe go le molwetse kana motho a se tsa tsamaetse ke malatsi go sa nne sende ka re le tselana go sena ditsela me go mola la lentse re go temporary batho ba atola bo siame ya ka re bona koloi ke ya atola le nna ne ke bo dirisitse ka Christmas ke a di bolong ka go ke a di khwaere me batho ba bo itumeletse thata.
The bridge stretches 40 meters across the river, standing 2.5 meters tall above its level. The experts confirmed that it's safe for use, attributing progress made to improved service delivery, influenced by the President Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi's Mindset Change project.
December towards Christmas. Positioning. Momalare ba gare ba gela ko ntle be re pushetsa mo teng be ra go ba gape re bo jakela ko tlase mo di sitting tsa teng mo di apartment teng mo gompeno yana ne ra dira gore batho ba kgone go tlola mo go setseng ke di protection works go tlase go le ka go sireletsa yone ha bo gatileng teng gore ha metsi a tswa kwa a saka a mana thata le gone.
The Molabe Bailey Bridge infrastructure will enable the residents to access services in other areas, enhance relations and foster growth in businesses while waiting for construction of the 20 kilometers tarred road in future. Karabo Mulusi, BTV News, Tsokwe.
The Minister of Transport and Public Works, Mr. Eric Molali, officially handed over the road design, construction and maintenance project of the Mankodi to Kanye Sejelo Road to a local company, which will commence in 6 months' time. The official signing of the contract handover was done in Hokodisa village, while the residents of Ramapat and Polokwe villages anticipate the construction of access roads that lead into their villages. Tato Ranna.
The minister says government is set on improving infrastructure as well as the safety and security of the transport sector. The project, which is expected to start in 6 months' time, has a budget allocation of 340 million pula. The project includes fencing, road maintenance, as well as road construction.
Re ne re ntse re rotloetsa re le puso gore ba gaetsho a re ha ditiro di tlhaga di neelwe batswana pele re eteletseng batswana ko pele re ba swelelle gore tiro tse nne tsa bone jaanong re dirile jalo ra ira molao wa Economic Inclusion Act gore pele ga tsotlhe le pele ga botlhe re neele batswana
sengwe se se tshwanang le tiro ena stabe sa ra gone gore trata ya tlhokomelo ga ke itse kana di gate mme ala go tile tlhokomelo ya tsela go e baakanya ga ke tsira nto go twa ele lone lo gogolo lo ntsho lona kana ja mme motho ka o eletsa gore e kete di-gate tse terata e ya geletseng tsela e ke dilo tse tla be le gore dilo tse di tla nna botoka go tswa ga go ya pele.
The local company responsible for the roadworks has assured residents that the project will be completed on time in February 2027.
Tsela e tla hela ka nako. Re solohetsa gore re na le ditsompelo tsotlhe tse di tlhokagalang tsa gore re dire tiro e hapele ga rona. Mme re solohetsa le one magosi a motse a metsi e tsela e ralalang mo go yone gore tana ntse re naakanya le bone mo go se se dirwang le yone phiro ya ka o sa tswa go bua tona e tla direlwa gone mo dikgoteng tse di harologaneng.
Jaaka re le ga re rotlhe yana batlotlegi makhanselara bokgosi le maphata ditlhogo tsa maphata otlhe a bao maleha ra be re le ba supiwa gore seo se dirang ke sone tota le ena ra kontraka re moetsi mo go sa tshwanele gape le mo e leng gore re na re utlwala ra kontraka na re mmana a le mo tseleng a le mo tirong re sa itse gore ke mang o tswa kae wa kae mme ebile le bona le lehoko le e leng gore ga o ba rola yana wa leba ke lehoko le re itumelang thata.
Residents have been advised to avoid vandalizing the fencing along the road as they are meant to restrict animals from straying and roaming into the road. Tataranna, BTV News, Gokodisa.
Botswana and Zimbabwean companies have been encouraged to explore each other's market for export opportunities to enable cross-border trade. This was said by the Botswana Investment and Trade Center Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Kilitshusi Ulibile, when giving an overview of opportunities that exist between the two countries at the just-ended Bi-National Commission between Botswana and Zimbabwe in Maung. BITC and Zimtrade signed a memorandum of understanding in 2018 to facilitate collaboration and cooperation between the two organizations, which has culminated in several business-to-business missions. Mpo Aaron reports.
In an effort to develop and enhance trade and economic relations, Botswana Investment and Trade Center and Zimtrade jointly held a sideline business forum at the Bi-National Commission between Botswana and Zimbabwe. Mr. Olibele said that as BITC, they have for the past years done some studies in Zimbabwe that the business community in Botswana can access as they seek business opportunities in that country.
Through some of the frameworks that we have put in place locally, we have seen a very attractive proposition for Zimbabwean companies to set up some kind of structure in Botswana, particularly for capital raising and enablement of operations at their base. And that's why I said we are beginning to see expressions of interest and letters of intent of companies that have begun to understand this story. When you operate in Botswana, you are basically able to do business with every corner of the world. I don't know if we are all aware that with the bilateral, multilateral agreements that our government has signed, there isn't any corner of the world that is not impacted. We are in the SADC trade protocol. We are now elevating to AFCFTA.
Zimbabwe is said to still hold a fountain of untapped opportunities available for trade with Botswana. A fact that needs to be worked on, however, is that Botswana does not even make the top 10 countries that Zimbabwe export to.
If you look at Botswana, it's not in the top 10. But the reason why we are here is to make sure we also change that narrative so that we become top trading partners. Since we are neighbors, I think we've got a lot to share. But now looking at Africa, also I think the biggest chunk of our exports are going to South Africa, and then followed by Zambia, Kenya, and then Botswana is also there. So we need to change the narrative, because as we speak, if South Africa catches a flu or sneezes, we catch a flu. So we need to diversify the export basket, and that's the reason why we are also here.
BITC and Zimtrade signed a memorandum of understanding in 2018 to facilitate collaboration and cooperations between the two organizations, which has culminated in several business-to-business missions happening. Some of the sectors of focus of trade relations include, among others, agriculture, agro-processing, services, which include tourism and finance, and manufacturing, covering textile, clothing, building materials, and furniture. Mpo Aaron, BTV News, Maung.
Now, the state prosecutor, Madimabe, in a case which Samuel Selolwane, Veronica Kopolelo, together with Lydia Bojameo, are facing a single count of inducing and encouraging prostitution of a 13-year-old child, pleaded with Magistrate Horatile Moremi Ramakoloi to issue an order that will force Samuel Selolwane to submit blood samples for DNA test. The prosecution said this when the accused persons appeared before court for mention.
The prosecutor, Onalena Mandimabi, in her request, informed court that the first accused person, Samuel Selolwane, is refusing to allow the police to take him to the laboratory to submit blood samples to conduct DNA tests, which is key in the ongoing investigations of a rape case which the accused is facing. She says it's been some time now that the investigators have been pleading with the accused person to do the DNA test to no avail, as he denies any committal of the offense he is charged with. The prosecutor told court that investigations are ongoing and they intend to consolidate the offenses and charge the accused persons jointly. She says since it is believed that the accused persons acted together to induce and encourage prostitution of a 13-year-old minor, it is important to be charged together. The first accused person, Samuel Selolwane, the second accused person, Veronica Kopolelo, who is also the mother to the 13-year-old minor, and Lydia Bojameo, who is a friend to the mother, also pleaded not guilty to the charges leveled against them. According to the charge sheet, the first accused person, Samuel Selolwane, on the 26th January 2024 at Odi Village in the Khatleng Administrative Authority, had unlawful carnal knowledge with a minor aged 13 years without her consent. The second accused person, Veronica Kopolelo, and the third accused person, Lydia Bojameo, on the 26th January 2024 at Odi Village, acted together and in concert, induced and encouraged the prostitution of the said minor child. The three accused persons, Samuel Selolwane, Veronica Kopolelo, and Lydia Bojameo, will be further remanded in custody and will appear again in court on the 29th of February this year. BTV News, Gaborone.
Acting Regional Officer at the Chobe Regional Education Office, Ms. Tetlanyo Chipendu, says they have lined up strategies to improve academic results in the region as the area has been experiencing a decline in educational performance. In the just released JCE results, the Chobe Junior Secondary obtained a pass rate of 27.3%. Kitso Teman.
For a lengthy period of time, the shortage of teachers, lack of proper teaching materials, among other reasons, are being attributed to the poor performance in schools. Chobe Junior School head Mr. David Mvila says the oversubscription within the school has worsened the shortage of teachers, despite temporary teachers being employed to try and bridge the gap.
Sekole se godile and ha se gola go ra gore matitšhara a simolola go thaela barutabana ba thaela minister o tla bo fila gap ka ma-temporary and ma-temporary ha bana continuity ke yone tswelediso so banna ba tswa ba tsena bana ba runa ba DNT ba ne ba le 91 mo 91 yone 84 itse re you the reason ile ura ga go a dirwa project ba assessile hela component ya project isio mo teng.
The regional education are working tirelessly to develop and incorporate different strategies in order to solve these issues and improve junior examination results in Chobe.
This year there's a difference because we have managed to fill all the posts. Benchmark in Pico schools since they are always performing well. So when they are coming back, we'll form a team and we'll be disseminate the information at the more regioning, we support our performance.
Other stakeholders are also equally worried.
Madiwa bana ga se a itumedisa. Tota ga o ka ya o lebella mo dingwageng tse di ka ga morago go ntse go na le kwelotase ya ka ga bana ba dirang ka teng. Dilo tse tsotlhe re ntse re di lebile re le botsadi mme kana le ha re di lebile re le botsadi re tshwanetse ra di lebella ka leitho le le bulegileng gore go ka tswa go bakiwa keng. Ka gore malatsi a re ka tswa re lebeletse social media ka ga e ba amileng ka teng bana ba ithuta dilo tse dintsi mo social media ba tswa mo tseleng e leng gore le ko malwapeng re leka go ba busetsa mo go yone mme ga re ta re lebella ko dikolong ba teachera ba imelwa.
Seeing that the Selebe-Phikwe region continues to shine on the educational front, it was revealed that officials from Chobe will soon be embarking on a benchmarking exercise to learn the best practices of the schools there. Kitso Temani, BOTSWANA Television, Kasani.
You're watching BTV News. Thank you for staying with us. Now, Botswana Post promote socio-economic inclusion. This was asserted by the Minister of Communications, Knowledge and Technology, Mr. Thulagano Sekgokgo, when officially opening Moshopa Post office recently. Kisogofetse Makwinja and Onelian Tokol.
It is the government's mandate to ensure that services are brought closer to the people through online services such as the Posto mobile application for convenience purposes. During the official opening of Moshopa Post Office, it was said that the upgrade entailed extension of the previous building and ensures safer conditions for service provision for the wide and diverse postal clientele.
Tlhokomelang poso ena e diretswe lona e diriseng ka ha ile gore go tshwanetse ka teng gore e nne mosola mo go lona e tle nne mosola mo dikokomaneng tsa lona le ka ha re tla beng ke soletse gore tla tswela re tlhabolla re tsenya maranyane ka teng e se mo Moshopa hela e le Botswana otlhe ke one mothale o re batlang gore re ngotle mesepele ditshenyegelo tsa lona le mo Moshopa le mahelo a mabapi gore le go bona thuso.
We apologize for that clip without sound. Now moving on, the First Lady Ms. Nomasisi has urged different cooperatives in the Selebe-Phikwe-Bubirwa region to merge in order to improve their bargaining power and reduce competitive rivalry. She said that cooperatives have the power to eradicate poverty and grow the economy. The First Lady made the remarks during her engagement with some cooperative societies in Bobonong last Friday. Kabelo Khakololo was there.
The government of Botswana has identified innovation and entrepreneurship as one of the drivers of her transition into a knowledge-based economy. Enterprises that are in the form of social cooperatives have a huge potential of addressing societal problems like unemployment. However, some cooperatives in the Selebe-Phikwe-Bubirwa area are struggling to stay afloat.
Le thokole le tona la rona ke ha re direlang teng ke di dirisiwa le one madi
ga rena le tsone di machine tsa bo hemming bo embroidery tse di tona tse no gore ngwe le combine e dira sengwe le sengwe ga rena le tsone.
The First Lady has implored them to be resilient, relentless and selfless, adding they should embrace Botswana's digital transformation agenda in order to capacitate themselves and attract investors.
Dikoporasi ke dilo tse leng gore di molemo thulaganyo ya teng e ka re ntsha mo lehumeng e ka jesa bana ba rona mme se segolo thata re dira jaana re iraele kgetsi e kgono ka go
tshwaragana re batho ba re rutang re le neela dithuto tse di harologaneng tse leng gore di ka dira gore o helele o itse thata ka go mo teng go tsamaisa kgwebo. Business management.
Currently, there are 17 registered multi-purpose cooperatives in the region.
Lona ba dikoporasi ikopanyeng le be le ya go bo Matebele le hatsele hetogile gate rona ba ile go ra direlo re bolelele ba diredi gore re batla eng. It must be driven by your needs. Gore me Matebele aska le bolela what you need. Lona li bue your needs.
District leadership has also vowed to support these cooperatives.
Gompieno puso e je sa bana di fruits go sekolo ke re ka sekara ra lema di banana ra lema di apple re di koporasi ra fide di kole tse di kana mo kgaolong ya Bobiro go re ne ke ra di tse a re heteng ka tsone re di lebelele ka tseleng tsena gore ka nna le seabe sa kgolo mo di koporasing tsa rona
bogolo jang ja ka go buiwa ka bo local economic empowerment
re bua ka local economic development, re bua ka dikgang tsa are change go gontsi mo ile goreng ha go nna jana ka the human mind is not limited ha go nna le diemo tlhaloganya e akanya se sengwe sa itshetso gore ke ka dira jang ha ke le mo dikgwethong tse dintseng jang.
Through the Ministry of Entrepreneurship, the government is committed to provision of business leadership, strategy, and overall policy direction. Kabalo BTV News, Bubonong.
In a bid to diversify its economy, Botswana government is shining the spotlight on the creative industry. The Department of Broadcasting Services, in collaboration with Big Dog Production, is spearheading this initiative to showcase the potential of Botswana's creative talents. The DBS Roadshow was in Silibepikwe to unearth the different creative talents in the town. Mamusi Siska.
The creative industry in Botswana has long been recognized as having the potential to unravel talent and innovation. From music and film to fashion and art, the country boasts a wealth of creative individuals eager to make their mark on the global stage. The industry holds immense potential for economic growth and job creation in the country.
We have to enable them. We have to package them. In a level, internationally. So after this road show, package and take them to the next stage. And it's a good thing to have collaborations with Big Dog Productions, DBS, the creative sector.
E re tlisitse boitumelo ka re e bontsha gore bodiragatsi ga ba sala ko morago o buile ka kgantsa intellectual property yena ga e tlhalosiwa e bontsha gore e tla thusa badiragatsi le gore ba sireletse se ba se tlhamileng se sentle seo se ska sa utswiwa ke batho ba bangwe le bone ka moso se tsoge se ba direla isago ye botoka.
Through this collaboration, the government aims to support local artists by providing funding, training and resources to enhance their skills and productions.
You know, from Bukhulu Mpikwele special town, and I think we've seen the most variety so far. I mean, Kiabora already dirang so far. So far, we've seen the most variety. But in terms of
keletso a me ke go bona project e tswela go pele ka gore e re ngoketse maloko mme bile gape tumelo a rona ke gone gore e godisa industry ya rona ka tsela e leng gore ya gagamatsa.
I'm on my way to success. I get ke libile ke le success ya so ke rotetse ngwana mongwe le mongwe gore o ska ithoga mo tshuleng di talent di a bereka tota di talent di a bereka tota I got to like it.
By promoting creativity, innovation and entrepreneurship, the government hopes to instill a culture of self-reliance and resilience in the population. Mamusi Siska, BTV News, Silibepikwe.
Well, that is the news this hour. Do stay with us, Tato Kwasimori, on standby to take you through the world of sport.
Thank you, Olibile Samoka. This is In Context, the sports update brought to you by Tato Khosimoro. Good afternoon. Let's take a look at our top story. The Botswana Karate Association held the first round of under-21 national team selections to select players who will represent the country at the Zone 6 Championships to be held by Namibia at Swakopmund in May. The athletes who were competing in cut and committee categories were from the southern and northern regions of the country. Tlamelo Munsusi.
One of the tournament administrators, Sensei Brian De Botelo, explained that the best 4 performing athletes in each category will advance to the second round, where selected athletes from the southern and the northern regions will compete for slots in the national team.
Then the performance is not that much improvement because the guys in Tabasa train center. Now from the festive break, the training is small. But the performance is not bad. To select a national team is a challenge. And then we need numbers to come up with the cream of the country. So seriously, we will encourage our clubs tse di around gore ba tsise bana, but we understand that because of those that don't break in re tswa go yone, hence that's why gongwe dipalo re ka se ra re di ka local, but the turn up today we can say that is good.
In the kata under 14, Norman Liburu of Kung Fu Can won gold. Wagomolo settled for silver while Khame Moshawane and Katlo Muliti settled for 3rd and 4th spot, respectively.
I prepared myself both physically and mentally. When you wake up in the morning, I just told myself, you're going to be number 1 for today. And that's what I told myself. And for physically, I worked hard, both here and at the dojo.
In the junior cadets category, Gabriel Molefe took the 1st spot, while Jonathan Chenjeta and Lewis Chenjeta settled for 2nd and 3rd, respectively. Now in committee junior cadets category, Sarna Mohakuludi defeated Nitin Jadiwe 7-6. In the men's senior cadets, Theo walked away with gold after defeating Botlhale Sikwane, while Kialeboga Molatle settled for 3rd spot. The Botswana Karate Association national team selection will continue next week with the senior category as they prepare a squad to compete at the Zone 6 Championship to be held in Namibia in May. Tlamelo Monthusi, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
Joannem Bowling Club are this year's Botswana Bowling Association champions for the first major tournament, which was sponsored by Mighty Infinite Services to the tune of 12,000 pula. The tournament was held over the weekend here in Gaborone. Kagiso Molelekwa with more.
Joannem Bowling Club, which sent a total of 5 teams to the major, emerged winners after winning all their 3 games and a 40-score difference to walk home with 6,000 pula in a trophy. They were followed by another Joannem Bowling Club team, which also collected 9 points and a 44-score difference to grab 4,000 pula. In position 3 was Orapa Bowling Club, who got 2,000 pula.
Me ala ka gore ne re bereka se team ke sone se re kgontshitse ka gore rotlhe mo team ya rona ne re participate ne re ba bangwe ba e ka re ba short ba bangwe ba thusa go hitlhela ko natane gore re win ke yone ala ne ke re bereketse ne re bereka se team
itumetse tshameko ya rona thata re tshamekile because kwa go pikiwa di team go a lebella gore go na le team A e go tsang gore is the strongest team, so ile a re apeka di team ya rona ne le gore joining brought 5 teams, so go ra gore nna team ene ke tshamekela ke team E ke eng gore heletse re gore tsa position 2 mme re gone position 1 e re sile ka short day 1 because bana le plus 41 o re na le plus 40 ba re sile ka short day 1 hela, so performance ya rona ke tsa gore re tshamekile thata. Ha re lebile kganyana gore ne re le the last ha go pikiwa
re re position 1 re paletswe hela ke ya gona re win di game tsa rona tsotlhe me ba re sile ka di score that's win di game tsotlhe ba re sile ka di score me tota maikelo ne le go wina go tsa position 1 ga ra tshameka sente thata re batho re tshameka hela go gampieno go re lebalana le netse ke pula once ga di sile nne sente le ke la shota metsi ga le tshameka ge sente hela.
This particular major, like you say, is the first one of the year in a series of 5. As Gaborone Club, we host the first because we are designated as the headquarters of the BBA. And we also, during that major, on the date of that major, we also have our AGM. At the beginning of every year, the BBA competition secretary sends out the calendar, the full calendar for the year, and we, as Gaborone, know that the second weekend of February, that is where our major is, and then roughly a month later comes Francistown. So the next major, in about 4 weeks, will be Francistown.
This first edition of Mighty Infinite Services Major will be graced by a total of 5 clubs across the country, with 16 teams taking part. It is the season opener in the Botswana Bowling Association calendar, and the second major is expected to be held in Francistown next month. Still part of the major, the Botswana Bowling Association also held the annual general meeting in which Kizo Robert was re-elected to the position of president. Kagiso Molelekwa, BTV Sport, Gaborone.
Before signing off, is our last story this afternoon. Extension Gunners played to a 1-1 draw in the First Division South League game played at SSG grounds in Gaborone. UB Hawks were the first to score on the 21st minute through Kenneth Silence strike, while Gunaguna equalizing goal was scored by Vuyo Mankankum, who scored a beautiful goal from outside the 18 years box. The result means that Daniel Snares' men Gunners have dropped to position 6, while Basimani Botlamalete's boys are still on position 7 with 16 points. In another Sunday game, Muchudi Santa Chiefs defeated Black Forest by 2-0 to move up to 4th on the log standings.
We could have loved a win. When you come to the game, you come straightly to try and get a win again. If we led first, if you score first in the First Division, you are likely to have the chances of winning at the game. We should have not allowed them to come back. And we take it. It's always a tough game when you come into the second round. It's tough, but we are there. We are playing a very experienced team. You can tell. If we had capitalized the first chances of ours, we could have won this game easily.
The first 15 minutes, I think my jersey number 10 should have scored a hat-trick there. In the box, when you are a striker, you must be a predator. Don't control everything that comes to you. So he had 1, 2, 3 crosses that he could have just tapped. Motasaka keeper. He wanted to control, defenders recovered, cleared the ball. But from a tactical point, compared to the first game, this is one team that plays without wingers. They invert, and they play a high line. So I played this type of system against Black Forest in Lubati. But you cannot play this system when you don't have the right players and when the situation doesn't allow. So today, I had to sit with 2 and with 2 strikers just to tweak the movements and the organizations to mark. I said they should not start. They were not starting.
With that said, we come to the end of In Context, the sports update. Stay tuned for more. In Context continues on the other side. Good afternoon.
Napa. Can get government help then?
Minister of Health.
Are you sure? I think I'm hearing that for the